if you are right now in the process of pursuing a big goal, a big dream, and a big vision, and you are really, really pushing to make this thing happen, but you wish that you can have it happen in a fraction of the time. I was on my morning run this morning, and I do something called the morning chats, in which I deliver a quick inspirational message to people during my morning run. And this was something that I shared this morning. I said, I've got to continue it with you today, because it's a concept that if you can get this concept, everything changes for you. If you can get this concept, you are going to be able to significantly shrink the amount of time that it takes you to accomplish your goals and your dreams. You are going to literally be able to get things done in a fraction of the time. And so I'm super excited about sharing this strategy with you, because I know it's going to create a shift for you. It's going to start rolling and stacking the odds into your favor. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. If you can start implementing these things, it will literally dramatically change the amount of time that it takes you to go ahead and accomplish your goals and your dreams. So before we go ahead and get started, do me a quick favor. As you're tuning in right now, put in your city and your state so I could go ahead and give you a quick shout out. Say hi to you real quick before we do a deep dive into this message. And so the title of this message is basically how to pressure cook your dreams, how to pressure cook your dreams. Now, for those of you who know what a pressure cooker is, you're going to be like, okay, I sort of kind of understand where you're going with this. For those of you who aren't quite sure how a pressure cooker works, don't worry, I'm going to break this thing down for you so I can make sure that you get some great principles, some strategies that you're going to be able to apply to your life and immediately implement so that you can produce some different results in your life. And so I'm super, super excited about this time that we're going to share together. And so if you guys would if you bear with me just a moment right before we get started, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I send a couple of quick notifications, let folks know that we are getting started right now on the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. So super excited, like always, that all of you are tuning in right now and joining me. And once again, like I said, do me a favor, if you are just now joining on, if you are just now tuning in, go ahead and make sure that you go ahead and give your name and your shout out for me before we go ahead and get started. And let me go ahead and just hit this quick share button so I could go ahead and let people know that we are right now jumping on. And of course, I want to welcome all of you to the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. And so here we go. Super excited. Hey, listen, and I want to remind you that this message is specifically for those of you. I mean, you've got a big goal, you got a big dream, you got a big vision, and something you're looking to make happen, and you want it to happen in a fraction of the time. And you've been trying to figure out, how can I get this goal accelerated? How can I make it happen in a fraction of the time? How can I get there faster, produce this outcome faster? And I'm about to give you the ultimate strategy. I shared this, like I said this morning on my morning run, and I said, I got to bring this to you again so that you make sure that you really, really understand this concept. So right now, I want you to think about specifically, I want you to think about a big goal, a big dream, and a vision, something that you're working on. It's tangible. It hasn't yet happened for you. Maybe perhaps you've had some level of success. You're having some level of progress, but you wish it would happen faster. Like you want to produce the outcome faster. I don't know what that thing is for you. Maybe it's getting your business to the next level. Maybe perhaps it's hitting a new number in your business. Maybe perhaps for you, it's trying to get the promotion. Maybe for you, it's about actually writing and completing your book. Maybe for you, it is something else. Like, I don't know what that thing is, but I want you to think about what that thing is that you really, really want to make happen, and that you want to make happen in a fraction of the time. Hey, Janicia, good to see you all the way across the land. I love it. Appreciate you tuning in. And so how do we make that happen? Like, how can you significantly reduce the amount of time that it is going to take you to accomplish your goals and your dreams? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you got to go ahead and put your dreams, put it in an environment where you are going to pressure cook it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you a very quick tutorial so you understand what I'm talking about here. First of all, you got to understand the big concept of really how a pressure cooker works. And then I'm going to be able to help you to apply this concept and give you a ridiculous strategy to shrink the amount of time that it takes you to accomplish your goals and your dreams. So I need you to get this. The way that a pressure cooker works, some of you, I mean, right now they got this real famous A real popular thing that people are using in their household is called an instant pot, But for me growing up, it was a metal pot and it had a cover on it, and it was called a pressure cooker. And some of you may remember that. It was a pot and it had a metal lid, and you would turn it and then it would seal it, and that was a pressure cooker. And so let me help you to understand. The way that a pressure cooker works is that it uses steam and it uses pressure. And the steam and the pressure allows the food to cook significantly faster. And it also distributes the heat and allows the food to cook evenly. Now you say, Andy, what in the world does a pressure cooker have to do with my goals and my dreams? What does a pressure cooker have to do with me accomplishing my goals and my dreams? Well, here's what I want you to understand. The key principle for a pressure cooker to work is that it creates an environment. It creates an environment that produces both steam and pressure. And so the reason why a pressure cooker or instant pot, as many people know right now, the reason why it can cook the food at a fraction of the time is because it creates this immense pressure and it creates an environment for the food to cook. And so what I want you to understand is, when you are cooking up a dream, when you are cooking up a goal, when you are cooking up something that you're hoping to make happen and you want it to happen quickly, what you have to do is you have to create an environment in which you create pressure so that you can knock out that goal faster, so you can knock it out quicker, so you can get to the finish line quicker. Now you say, well, Andy, how do I do that? How do I do that? I want to give you a classic example. And so just a couple years ago, I released my first book. The title of the book is called Show Up for Your Life, 7 Principles to Living an Extraordinary Life. If you haven't gotten a copy, make sure you head on over to Amazon after this message. Matter of fact, I'll make sure that I go ahead and put a link here someplace so that you can get access to the books. Phenomenal book, has changed lives. I've sold thousands upon thousands of copies. Some of my clients have bought in excess of 500 copies at a time, and it is an absolute game changer. But here's what I want to tell you, and here's what I want you to understand. This is where the lesson lies for you. When I was in the process of writing my book, I had gotten to a place where now I was months into writing the book, and I realized that I had gotten to this hold pattern. In other words, I was really gung-ho on getting the book out there, but unfortunately for me, this is what ended up happening. I got myself in a holding pattern. And what I found was that I was self-sabotaging myself and keeping that book from coming to market. And so let me help you to understand what I mean by that. I kept saying, oh, I got to edit the book. I kept saying, oh, I need more revisions. I kept saying, I got to revisit it. And so every single time I was doing that, what I was doing is I was postponing and I was delaying the release of the book. Hey, sound familiar? Sometimes there's something in our lives that we want to do, and we find a reason to delay doing it. And so perhaps for you, it's starting the business. Perhaps for you, it's getting to the next level. Perhaps it's creating a new product. Perhaps it's heading in a new direction. Perhaps it's going after something particular in your career. But oftentimes there's something that we want to do that we're excited about doing. However, we find ourselves in a holding pattern, and maybe perhaps you're being busy, but you're not producing the result and the outcome. And you say, well, Andy, what's the solution? I'm about to give you the solution. You need to create immense pressure, and you need to create it yourself. I want you to write this down. Listen carefully. Environment is stronger than willpower. Most of us are leaning on willpower. We're leaning on our willpower to accomplish our goals and our dreams. We're leaning on our willpower to get to a specific outcome. We're leaning on our willpower so that we can sort of push it through and grind it through. But sometimes your willpower does not allow you to get to the finish line. Sometimes your willpower is not producing the result that you want. Sometimes willpower alone doesn't make it happen. So you say, well, what do I have to do, Andy? What you've got to do is stop trying to rely just on your willpower. And what you actually have to do is create an environment that creates enough pressure so that you can accomplish your goal and your dream faster. Do you hear me on this? Listen, y'all got to share this because I'm about to go in. I'm about to go in really, really strong here so that you can get this, because once you get the strategy, everything changes. Like Everything that you want to make happen, it is going to happen in a fraction of the time. If it was supposed to take you a year, you'll knock it out in half a year. If it's supposed to take you 6 months, you'll do it in 3. If it was supposed to happen in 3 months, you do it in a month and a half. If you were supposed to make this thing happen in a month, you can do it in a week if you apply this principle. And so what I want you to understand is, number one, I want you to get this: environment is stronger than willpower. I'm going to say it again. Matter of fact, somebody do me a favor, type that in the comment section. Environment is stronger than willpower. And so many of us, we are trying to grind it through, right? We hear this suggestion all the time. You got to grind, you got to hustle, you got to do all these things to get to your goals and your dreams. And so we are counting on that willpower, that hustle mentality, that grit. I'm going to push through. I'm going to make this thing happen. But I want to tell you something. If willpower was enough, then most people would go ahead and accomplish their goals and their dreams. If willpower was enough, everybody would be slim at their ideal weight. Everybody would go ahead and have a successful business. Everybody would have amazing relationships. Everybody would absolutely love their life, because most of us are relying and counting on our willpower to try to produce the results. But environment is stronger than willpower. And so what that means is that if you want to produce certain results, and if you want to get to those results faster, what you actually have to do is create an environment in which you have to win, not an environment in which you want to win. There's a big difference between the two. You need to create an environment where you have to win rather than being an environment where you want to win. When we're counting on our willpower, we are pushing it through for the things that we want to happen. But if you can create an environment where something has to happen, then you show up entirely differently. And so here's what I want you to realize. We go back to my story. So I've been working on this book now for about 8 months, right? And so I'm at this point where I'm like, Andy, it's time to release the book. But I am so caught up in wanting it to be perfect that I keep sending it to the different editors and the different proofreaders, and it's being edited and proofreaded. And if you've ever gone through that process, you'll realize that you can go through edits and proofreads for the next 10 years and never get your book out. Because no matter if you have the best editor, the best proofreader, another editor is going to come and give a different set of revisions, and you will be sitting on this thing forever. And so what I realized is that at the current rate that I was at, it was going to take me another 8 months to finally get this book out. And so I said to myself, Andy, it is time for you to go ahead and get this book out, my brother. You've got to create a pressure cooker for your goals and your dreams. So I said, how can I create a pressure cooker for my goal and my dream? So one of the things I decided to do, this is what I did, and this was pretty crazy. From that moment that I made the decision, I went ahead and plotted out a date that was about 45 days later. And so what I did was I went to the Hard Rock Casino, which is down here in South Florida, and I went to a venue that they had over there, and I told the people I'm booking the venue for 45 days out. And I told the folks I'm securing this venue, and I cut a check for the venue. So that was the first part for me creating this pressure container. I secured a venue, and I had some skin in the game. I actually had to cut a check. I had to give up a credit card. I had to put some skin in the game. Now, that was one thing, but you know what? Worst case scenario, what would happen? I would just lose my money. Now I needed to create an additional level of pressure. And so the next thing that I did was I grabbed a video, and I went ahead and I shot a video real quick, and I sent out an email to all of my friends, to all of my family members, to all of my contacts, and I invited them out to my book release party on that specific date. Are you listening? I was sitting on the book. The book still wasn't done. It wasn't completed. And now I went and booked a venue for my book launch. And on top of that, I sent out an email. I sent out a mass message. I sent out everybody telling them I'm about to do a book release party. And when you get there, you're going to get a copy of my book. Now, I took it another step further. I had my web guy, Tiger, go ahead and set up a website. And on the website, I decided to pre-sell the book. And I told the folks that I pre-sold the book to who were local that they can come to my book release party to get a physical copy of the book. Now, I want you to realize what's happening here. Here I am. I'm working on this book. I'm 8 months in. And I'm realizing I'm at a pace that it's going to take me another 8 months to finally release the book. I want the book to get out right away. I'm realizing just the willpower alone is not enough. I need to create an environment that creates enough pressure for me so I could produce the result and the outcome that I want to produce. And so what I do is I go and I book a venue for my book release party. But then all I have is money on the line. Now I need to put my reputation. I need to put my character on the line. I make an announcement. And once I make the announcement, I let folks know that I'm going to be doing a book release party. And then now I got to really put my reputation on the line. I start allowing people to purchase the book. So they're using their hard-earned money. They're purchasing the book and setting the expectation that they're going to get the book on a specific date. And can I tell you something? Over the next 45 days, I'm going to be honest with you. All hell broke loose. I mean, I had somebody that was doing the interior graphics and alignment of the book, and they weren't knocking it out fast enough for me to hit my deadline. I had to pull that back from them, go to somebody else who had to do it for literally 3 times the price because I needed it done so much faster and so much quicker. In addition to that, I remember I was sitting there trying to edit and edit and edit and edit. And I kept holding on to it and feel like it's not perfect. It's still not perfect. And then I ran across a quote by Sheryl Sandberg, and it said that done is better than perfect. And so I had to put a Post-it note on my wall and next to my computer every single day that said done is better than perfect, Andy. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. And I had to solidify that in my mind. There were times that I was staying up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning to get the final things done. The week before the books were supposed to get there, I was on the phone with the publisher, and they were trying to figure out if they were going to get me the quantity of the books that I needed in time for my actual book party. I want you to get this. My book launch was happening, I believe, on a Saturday. And I'm telling you, the books came the day before, like 5 p.m. in the evening. They were delivered by the UPS truck. And so I remember I was freaking out, "Are the books going to be here? My reputation's on the line." I had over 250 people show up to that book launch party. But can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? You know I had the books, right? You know everybody had their books. You know that book got released in those 45 days. The book party, matter of fact, I can't wait. I will post the picture. Do you know that that book launch party was packed out? Everybody got the book. It happened. Something that should have taken me and could have taken me another 8 months. I condensed it to 45 days. How did I do it? By creating a pressure cooker. And what I want you to understand, that anything that you're working on right now, you can do it in a fraction of the time if you're willing to create a pressure cooker. You guys do me a favor right now in the comment section, put hashtag pressure, hashtag pressure, hashtag pressure. Most of the time when it's up to our own will, we try to avoid pressure because it's uncomfortable, because it puts us in a predicament where oftentimes we have to do things that we don't necessarily want to do. Pressure actually a lot of times create a sense of urgency and forces us to have to do things so much faster. And so most of us, we would rather not be pressured, let alone creating pressure for ourselves, right? We already don't want to be pressured by our boss. We don't want to be pressured by people on the outside. We don't want to be pressured by people that we don't know. We don't want to be pressured. Most of us try to avoid pressure. But what I'm saying to you is if you are really, really serious about your accomplishing your goals and your dreams, I mean, you're not just curious, as one of my friends would say, you are serious. Like if you are serious about accomplishing your goals and your dreams, you are serious about getting it done in a fraction of the time. You are serious about raising the money for your nonprofit. You're serious about getting the book out. You're serious about getting to that next income threshold. You're serious about getting the promotion. You're serious about making some things happen. What I want you to understand is you got to be willing to create your own pressure cooker. You got to put yourself in the pressure cooker. I say, Andy, it's not comfortable. I know it's not comfortable, but you will create an environment that forces you to level up. You will create an environment that creates a sense of urgency. You will create an environment that forces you to take massive, rapid action. That's the thing. That is the key. I created an environment for myself that forced me to create massive action, to take fast action. And what I want you to understand, and when I think about this, and I want you to think about this right now in your life, think about something that you're doing right now, and how can you create a pressure cooker for yourself? How can you create a container? I was having the same conversation I'm having with you right now with one of my coaching clients. And she said, Andy, listen, I've been really, really busy, but I'm sick of using busy as an excuse. And one of the things that I want to do is I want to launch an online program. I want to close a couple people to that online program. And she says, how do you think I can do that? And I said, are you really, really serious about doing this? She said, yes, I am. I said, how serious are you? She says, I'm really, really serious. She said, I said, if I present something to you, it is going to have to make you decide in this moment how serious you are. And she says, well, where are you getting at with this? She got a little nervous. And I said, well, let me share something with you. And I shared with her the principle and the idea of creating a pressure cooker. And so by the end of our conversation, this is what she agreed to. This is what she agreed to. And we're talking about this tomorrow morning. I got her to put on a piece of paper, to write a formal contract, the 3 things that she was committing to. One of them was that she was going to create an online course. The other thing was that she was going to actually close some people to that online course. And the other thing was that she was going to put on a live event. And so she wrote it down on the contract and set the specific dates in which she was going to do that. And the pressure cooker that we created was that if she did not accomplish that at the set date and time that she said she was going to accomplish it, her and I are going to go on Facebook Live, and she is going to shave all of her hair on Facebook Live while everybody watches. Do you hear me? That is crazy. Do you hear that? We signed an agreement, a written contractual agreement that I'm going to hold her accountable to, that if she doesn't knock out those 3 goals of creating the online product, closing some people to the online product, and then also hosting her live event by a set date, and I'm checking in with her tomorrow that we're going to do a Facebook Live. She's going to get an actual pair of electronic clippers, and she's going to shave all of her head. You say, well, Andy, that is ridiculous. Andy, that is absurd. I would never do that. That is absurd. Well, I'll tell you this. If you're not willing to put something that crazy on the line, chances are you're not that serious. You're not that serious about accomplishing your goals and your dreams. That thing that you say that you really, really want, I'm going to say that you probably don't really, really want it that bad because you're not willing to put yourself within the pressure cooker. You see, I had an opportunity to find out right then and there if my coaching student, if she was serious, because I told her, you draft this contract, you write it up, and I'm going to go ahead and sign it. And I wanted to see if she was going to do it. Do you know what she did? She drafted the contract. She signed it. I executed it. And she committed to it. We set a date. She does not hit the goal. She's shaving her head. But you know what I believe? I believe that she's going to knock it out. You want to know why? Because she created a pressure container for herself. She created a pressure cooker. And so I want you to understand that there is a difference between wanting to win and having to win. There's a difference between wanting a goal and having to accomplish the goal. It is 2 different mindsets, 2 different mentalities. When you want something and you don't get it, then it's going to be okay. All right, cool. It didn't happen. It's okay. I'm all right, right? So you wanted the promotion. You didn't get it. It's okay. You wanted to release the book. You didn't release it. It's okay. You want to go ahead and start the business. You didn't do it. It's okay. But let me tell you something. It's a completely different scenario when you're put in a situation and you have to do it. For those of you who have children, if you were put in a situation and you were told that in order for this thing to happen, or in order for your child to get well, you had to do it, I guarantee you that you would find a way to make it happen, because it's not something you'd want to do. It's something that you have to do. If you were put in a situation where literally it depended on your life and your family's life to come up with a certain amount of money, I guarantee you that you would become more resourceful and that you would find a way to come up with the money because it was something that you had to do and not something that you simply wanted to do. And so what I want you to understand is that at all times, you've got to create a pressure container for yourself. You've got to create this pressure cooker. And so you've got to create an environment where you have to do it. Do me a favor right now in the comment section, put hashtag have. hashtag have, like you have to get it. You have to make it happen. Let me say hi to a couple people. Hey, Jacinia, good to see you. Hey, Valentine, good to see you. Hey, Connect, good to see you. All right, fantastic. Hey, Jermaine, good to see you. But we've got to create an environment where you have to do it. Do me a favor, put right now hashtag have. Hashtag have. Listen, there's a distinct difference. Do you understand that? Between having to do something and wanting to do something. And my question for you is, whatever that goal is, whatever that vision is, what is it that you can do to create a pressure cooker for yourself, to create an environment for yourself where you have to accomplish your goals and your dreams and you have to make this thing done? And yes, I know it sounds crazy, like it's bizarre. It's bizarre. I know, for me to have a conversation with my coaching client and for her to actually execute a contract saying that she would shave her head bald over on Facebook Live. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes when you want to create a significant shift in your life, when you want to produce a new result, when you want to do something that you have never done before, you have to be willing to put something on the line that you have never put on the line before. You have to be willing, oftentimes, to look ridiculous. You have to be willing to do something that completely makes you feel uncomfortable. And you have to do something that creates a pressure cooker for yourself. And so I am really, really hoping that right now that you're thinking about something that you're working on, something that you want to do. And I want to challenge you to condense the amount of time that it's going to take you to do it by creating a pressure container for yourself. I had an opportunity. I was on a cruise and I spoke to this gentleman. This was a highly successful gentleman. He had built multiple businesses to not the 7-figure mark, but also to the 8-figure mark. And we were having a conversation. I asked him, I said, hey man, what do you say is one of the keys? Because you have built multiple businesses and you've had success in those multiple businesses. Like, what do you think is the key to be able to do that from not just one business, but to another business? And he said, do you really want to know? I said, absolutely. He said, creating a pressure container for myself. I said, what in the world is a pressure container? And in so many words, he was describing what I'm describing for you. Creating an environment where there's immense pressure that is going to force you to have to take massive action, that is going to force you to have to execute and produce the result that you want to produce and be in a situation where you have to get it done rather than simply want to get it done. And so listen, I don't know what your goal is right now. I don't know what your dream is. I don't know what your vision is. But what I do know is that none of us know how much time we really have. And I believe that when it comes to your goals and your dreams and the things that you want to make happen, I believe that if you can have a greater sense of urgency, if you can get to your highest level faster, you're going to be able to produce more impact. You're going to be able to connect and influence more people. You're going to ultimately be able to produce so much bigger results. And so I'm asking you for that thing that is important to you, that thing that you're looking to get to the next level. I'm asking you to do something radical. I'm asking you to do something crazy. And I'm asking you to put yourself in a crazy pressure container. I want you to create an environment where you have to win, not an environment where you want to win. Those are two different environments. I want you to create an environment where you have to win. What I'm asking you to do is I want you to pressure cook your dreams. I want you to pressure cook your goals. Hey, listen, I'm hoping that you got some value from this. I'm hoping that when it comes to your goals and your dreams, that you are going to find a way to create a pressure container for yourself, to create a pressure cooker and put yourself in an environment where you have to take massive action and you have to get things done. And so I am hoping that you're going to be sharing with me some stories in the future about how you implemented this particular strategy and how you created a pressure cooker for yourself and you were able to knock out one of your goals significantly faster and get it done. I cannot wait to hear some of your stories. Do me a favor, of course, if you got some value from this message, make sure you hit the share button because I'm sure that there's somebody that you're connected to that could get some value from listening into this message. And of course, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you connect with me on one of my pages, or if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And once again, I thank you all for tuning in. And remember, you want to create a pressure cooker for your goals and your dreams. You want to create an environment where you not just want to win, but create an environment where you have to win and you have to take massive action. Hey, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in. Have a fantastic day. I'll be talking to you soon.